All right, and we are live. This is the special webinar event on how to set your performance to mind blow and really amaze everyone around you as to what you can do in your life and your business. So it is 7 February 2019, and we're going to get right into it if that's okay. Can everybody just type in to make sure that my sound is working, that the audio is working, and that the video is working, that you can see and hear me? If you just type that into the comment box, that'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, getting a few responses here. It sounds like everything's up and working properly. So if it's okay with all of you, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Is that okay? Awesome, awesome. Okay, I'm getting a few yeses. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the presentation. Like I said, this is the webinar on how to set your performance to mind blow. I'm your host, Dkope, and I help people develop written plans and build executive skills. So it's really important nowadays that you have these executive skills. So I'm going to get right into it. You may know me from Cope's Corner and Cooking with Cope. I have a couple shows out there on YouTube. But the topics today are the eighth wonder of the world. Then I'm going to tell the story of the greatest entrepreneur of all time. And then I'm going to get into how to steal my best tools for free. And if that wasn't enough, there's a special bonus for you all, how to make $1 million in 3 years. So it's a pretty cool bonus for you. So first, I just want to talk about who this is for. This is for both beginners and those of you who are already successful in the markets and just looking to scale up. The information I'm about to tell you can really be life-changing. So please eliminate all the distractions that you have, turn off the TV, and get out your record book or a notebook and a pen and write this stuff down, because this stuff is really important. It could really change your life right now. The majority of you think that the market is actually controlling your performance. Like if the market goes up, then you'll probably do well. And if the market goes down, you'll probably do poorly. But really, the market doesn't have anything to do at all with your performance. And I'm gonna break that down right now for you. But I used to think that too. I used to think it even up to a few years ago. I would think that, I hope the market does good this year because it's really going to impact my performance. But really, I couldn't be further from the truth. And then I had this big epiphany. The epiphany was that it's you who controls your performance, and your risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. So here's what you need for this. You need a phone with an internet connection. You need a sincere desire to contribute. Being over 18 is helpful, but it's really not critical. You know, you're not going to be able to trade in the stock market until you're 18, but you can't learn these ideas early enough. So even if you want to prepare for that 18th birthday where you can begin to trade in the stock market, I encourage you all to do that, because you really can't learn this stuff early enough. And then the last thing you need is just the market understanding, which I'm going to tell you how to get throughout this presentation. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this isn't your first webinar that you've attended. If you've failed at this in the past, it's not your fault. There's a lot of information out there, and it can be very confusing, especially if you're getting it from multiple sources all at once. And many times this information overload actually can keep us from success. So it's important to realize that as well. If you've been concerned in the past that you can't succeed, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. The large corporations out there, they want you to think that you need all these fancy degrees and certifications to make money. They want you to think it's too hard for you to do on your own and it's too complex for you to understand. And they have their own reasons for making you want to think that, but it's just not true. And most of the people saying that don't even have a market understanding themselves. So, they could be really believing it, but it's just all not true. So just dismiss it and listen to this webinar. And so let me ask you a question. Would you go to your barber and ask if you need a haircut? No, of course not. Because the barber is going to say, yeah, Dkope, you need a haircut. And the surgeon is going to tell you you need an operation. And the pharmacist is going to say you need medication. Are you getting this? So why approach your financial advisor without a plan or at least an idea of what you want to accomplish? I actually started my research to reassure myself that I was doing the right thing by referring friends and family to these financial advisors. And what I discovered about the industry was pretty unbelievable. 9 out of 10 financial advisors aren't required to act in your best interest, meaning they aren't fiduciaries. Now, you're probably thinking, Dkope, what's the big deal? It's not going to change what plan they put me in, right? Well, the big deal is there's a huge conflict of interest because it actually might influence which plan they put you in if they get more commissions for putting you in a certain plan. So because they aren't required to give you what's best, they give you what's best for them, the products with the highest commissions. So is this starting to make sense? So you need a tailored plan, not just some cookie cutter age-based portfolio or commission-based portfolio. I mean, don't you want tailored advice that takes into account your future goals and expenses? So hopefully you realize the power of this change. So when I dug deeper in the financial industry, the facts just got more and more outrageous. They really did. Of all the financial advisors in America, 44% of them admit to not having an advisor themselves. So that's like having a personal trainer that's not working out, in my opinion. Or a nutritionist who's scarfing down Twinkies and telling you to eat healthy. It's not their fault at all, though. It's our own fault for ignoring the fine print. Once I owned this fact, I could no longer blame my advisor or planner any longer. And it's not their fault either. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just standard procedure. So if these financial advisors aren't fiduciaries, then what are they? They're no more than a broker. A broker who is selling you a financial product or service or both in exchange for a fee. And this is where knowledge can be power if you apply it to your retirement correctly. And I know what you're thinking. What's a few percent between friends, right? These fees could be costing you over half of your entire retirement over the life of the account. And I'll show you in a quick story. So 30 years ago, Bill and Scotty began saving for retirement. Bill contributes $5,000 a year for 30 years. He pays 0.2% in index fees, and the index fund he's in returns 10.2% a year on average. Scotty contributed $5,000 a year for 30 years, but he paid 1.2% in expense fees, and the mutual fund he was in only returned 7.2% a year on average. So Let's look to see what happened to Bill and Scotty. So they end up having entirely different results. Bill ends up with close to $1,000,000, $904,717. And Scotty ends up with less than half, $419,000. It's just unbelievable how these fees and slight differences in percentages returns annualized over 30 years can add up to such a great amount. So you mean Scotty paid more for worse results? Yes, he did. And that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part is Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't even know that he's paying all these extra fees, and he's not monitoring the performance. He's not comparing it to index funds, and he's certainly not extrapolating out over 30 years to see what kind of damage is really being done to his retirement account. And it's important to grasp these concepts of compound interest. And Scotty's not alone either. 92% of Americans admit that they don't know what their retirement fees are. So let me ask you, do you know what your retirement fees are? 72% of Americans didn't even think they had any fees at all. And I was right with them. But now I know. And most of us don't even know. So do you see how not knowing is your real risk? This could be costing you over half of your retirement account. So you can't plead ignorance any longer. One of the biggest things you could do right now after this webinar is to check the fees in your retirement account. And if there's an option to just go index funds, low cost index funds versus mutual funds, then go with the index funds. So you can really save half your retirement account and buy into these low cost index funds. So why low cost index funds? Well, index funds outperform 96% of mutual funds. It's pretty amazing. That's why Warren Buffett has said upon his death that his wife's retirement be put into low cost index funds. And that brings us to our first topic, the eighth wonder of the world. So what's the eighth wonder of the world? It's compound interest. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe, coming from one of the smartest guys to ever live in the universe, Albert Einstein. So hopefully this was your big epiphany moment. This compound interest really add up over time. So I want to save you from any unnecessary beginner losses and give you a market-tested plan and a proven process to follow. Learning how the best traders trade and how the best investors invest finally gave me the confidence that I needed. So I made my own special formula that you won't find anywhere else in the market. It involves this special middle ground where all of my research led me to. And if I had to sum it up in one slide, then it would look like this. Trading on the left, investing on the right, and then markets, inflection point, and trends are all right in the middle. And these three things are very important to understand, to have a full understanding of. So once I had a full understanding, I finally was able to realize some breakthrough performance of my own. And here was the headline that I put out. Founder reveals Robinhood statement up 425.58% in 5 trades made from my smartphone. So I really did do this. I made 5 round-trip trades from my phone in a little over a month period, and I was up 425%. So, I was just doing this to demonstrate what's possible. But in the moment, I didn't realize how significant the results were going to be. I didn't realize the performance was really going to be that mind blowing. I had a hunch that I could do it, but up until that point, I wasn't really convinced that I could really knock it out of the park and hit that grand slam, which is absolutely what this case study was. You can go on Dkope.com to see more details, but it's not what I did, it's how I did it. I did it with no leverage, no complex strategies, and I did it from my phone on an app, the Robinhood app. The performance came down to one simple thing: my understanding of the markets. So I know now that you can do this with just a few $100s. I proved it. I know some of you are still probably not impressed though. I'm a numbers guy though. So this was clear proof to me that I was onto something. And let me just show you. Because there are only about 7,500 publicly traded companies on FinViz, at least. I know there's more than that, but I was only looking on FinViz. And there's only about 10 of these companies that go up 30% to 60% each week. The odds of picking one of these 10 stocks every week for 5 weeks in a row is about 1 in 237.3 trillion with a T, trillion. And there's the math right there for you if you don't believe me. So 1 in 237.3 trillion. It is unbelievable, So there has to be something else here. There has to be proof of a greater understanding here with these results. For a comparison, winning the lottery is 1 in 175 million. So it was almost like I won the lottery twice. Not quite, but it's almost. I definitely felt like I won the lottery, and you can see why I felt that. The thing is, I don't believe I'm that lucky. So if I wasn't expecting these huge returns, I know right now I would have never got them. So no matter how much I expect to win the lottery, it's just not going to happen for me, right? And I realized finally that it was me who was responsible for my performance, not the markets. The markets were pretty flat in that 5-week trading period that I was up 425%. So pretty amazing, and completely isolated from what the market was doing. So being a numbers guy, I realized just 5 trades isn't statistically significant. I'm pretty big into statistics. I track all my trade percentages, my win-loss percentages, and $1,300. A lot of you are probably like, "Oh, what's the big deal, $1,300?" Well, here was my larger account in that same period. I was up 143.58% in my best quarter that year, and there was over 50 trades in that quarter. So those results are statistically significant, and 143%, I'm sure a lot of you would be happy with those returns in a year, not even in a quarter. You'd be happy with those returns in a year. So I'm showing you this just to prove that I did it. I'm not trying to brag. I don't care. But if someone's claiming to be this market guru and isn't showing you their actual results and their track record, run the other way, because this industry is full of scammers and Ponzi schemes. I'm sure you all know the story of Bernie Madoff. And it's just important to always have your guards up. So even traders with great track records still make bad trades, and they still make bad decisions. Just because they have an amazing track record doesn't mean you just blindly trust all their advice, including mine. You shouldn't just be seeing what I post and just saying, "Oh, that's what Dkope's doing, and he made all this money, so this must be a good idea." No, You want to vet all your ideas, and you want to do your due diligence, because although that person may have intended to help you, they can end up misleading you by not giving you all the information, and you need a full understanding of the market to make these educated decisions. So now I know what you're thinking. Okay, Dkope, I believe that you can do this. I just don't think that I can beat the market. So I'm going to teach you how. You just have to promise that you're not going to use these powers for evil. You guys promise? Can I just get some yeses? Anyway, okay, awesome. Getting a few yeses. All right, you're still with me tonight. That's good. So the secret to beating the market comes down to three things: a quality trade plan, a proven process to follow, and a full understanding of the PO. And the PO is the performance of everything. So I'm going to get to each of these, but first I just want to share another important piece of everything. And this is going to help you out in life and in business. It's even more valuable than understanding how everything works. It doesn't matter how much money you have. And I'll prove it right now. Would you rather be happy and healthy and super confident in every action you take and every decision you make, but you owe $1 billion? Your bank account is minus $1 billion. Love this smiling kid. Looks great. Or would you rather be sick and miserable and fearful of every step you take, but have $1 billion in the bank? So, of course, hopefully most of you see that you'd rather be happy and healthy and owe $1 billion. It doesn't matter. It's just a number at the end of the day. If you're happy and healthy and confident, then you're gonna have a much better quality of life. And that's what it's all about. It's about your quality of life. So you really want to find ways to invest in yourself and really grasp that full understanding. And once you do that, things are going to start lining up for you. At the end of the day, it's just a number. Money doesn't matter. And the super intelligent people, they understand that money is just a tool to get you what you want. So for those of you thinking that more money is going to solve all your problems, ask yourself what you would do with it. If you could buy peace of mind or a market understanding, what would that be worth to you? The reality of our situation is the time is never going to be just right to learn this. You're never going to have all this free time and a couple extra $1,000 to invest in all these programs. The time is not going to be just right. But if you learn it now, this important information can pay dividends for the rest of your life and have a tremendous impact on your net worth. Not only that, but you'll gain extremely valuable interpersonal skills and universal time management and money management techniques that you can take anywhere you go. So let me ask you a serious question. Can you simply model success? So this leads me to the story of the greatest entrepreneur of all time. So this is the story of the greatest entrepreneur of all time. And in this photo, this is the quadricycle, which took years of trial and error and resulted in this great story. Now, even though a lot of you probably aren't familiar with his full story. Everyone is the beneficiary of his work, and some of us are just too busy to research this stuff. So I decided to go ahead and, for the greater good, try and inspire and motivate you, especially in times of great uncertainty, because I know you can do it. So this man was born on a farm in Greenfield Township, Michigan on July 30th, 1863. He grew up there and had the perfect angle of the world. Like any great entrepreneur, he had to overcome great adversity. At age 13, his mother died. At 20, he walked 4 miles to his church every Sunday. At age 28, he became an engineer at the Edison Illuminating Company. This picture is the culmination of years of effort, dedication, and determination. As he rode through the streets of Detroit on his crudely made horseless carriage, I'm sure you can imagine what people said. I mean, just take a closer look at this picture. Look at the tires. They're Ford bicycle tires. The driver's seat looks like a couch, which it probably was. The gearbox only had 2 gears, and reverse wasn't one of them. The crowds gathered to scoff scornfully and ridicule him. Some said the silly-looking contraption would never become practical. Others said no one would pay money for such a vehicle. Yet this man continued, in the face of ridicule, to create the greatest entrepreneur story of all time. He rode on with confidence and said, "I'll belt the entire earth with these quadricycles." His name is so synonymous with the birth of auto that it needs no mention. What can we learn from this one historical photo and the culmination of his initial experiments? Well, when you're testing an idea, it doesn't matter how it looks at all. So I'm giving you permission right now to block out all negativity from everyone while you're in the testing phase. They couldn't possibly imagine your vision of the future because you're still creating it. Never stop creating your greatest story and your vision of shaping the world in your unique way. And that's the story of the greatest entrepreneur of all time. So that was the greatest entrepreneur of all time. And I just want to talk a little bit now about the process. So when Henry Ford started out, he didn't try and make the perfect car that he was envisioning. He created a plan and then tried in the most economical way to build a prototype of his car. And this is the first step in the process, taking your plan and just seeing if it works, trying to test that idea and seeing if it works. And that's the first step in the process. So here's the process laid out, and I have the images above to kind of give you a visualization of each step and the goal of each step. So first is you're going to want to create a plan, and then you're going to want to test that plan, and you're going to want to do that in a risk-free environment like a market simulator, because before you actually put real money into the plan, you want to make sure that it's working for you. and that you can see results. If you don't see results, then I wouldn't recommend actually investing your real hard-earned money. But as soon as you start to see those percentage returns, whether it's 1% a day or 1% a week, as long as it extrapolates out to 30% a year or more, I would say that's the point where you do want to start taking it into a small account and just focus on keeping your plan the exact same. So I see a lot of people struggle because they get very emotional with their money. They have trouble detaching from it, and that can be a real problem. And if that occurs, just backtrack a little bit. Go back to this simulated market and think about how you were able to achieve those mind-blowing performance results in the simulator before you even came into the small account. And then you'll start to say, oh, well, I exited this trade because I was feeling this way, whereas in the simulator, I wasn't really nervous at all about it because it was just fake money. So that's important to see these steps and these gaps in the process. So there's 4 gaps in the process right here. First gap is from creating your plan to going in the simulator. Second gap is from the simulator to the small account, then the small account to the mid-size account, and the mid-size account to the large account. So let's get back to the secret of beating the market by a lot. And the secret to beating the market is, like we said before, it's a quality trade plan, which I just went over, the proven process, which I just talked about a little bit, and then understanding the performance of everything. So this is the last thing, the performance of everything. And I broke it down into these 5 categories. And I don't have a chance to get into all these right now because that's not what this webinar is about. I just wanted to give you the high-level view of understanding what affects the performance of everything. And this isn't just the performance of your bank account or the performance of your trading account. This is the performance of your life too. So it's really important to grasp this concept as well. Now, in trying to understand the performance of everything myself, I developed a few tools that I think can help everyone here. So the first one is the compound interest calculator file that I created for myself because I couldn't find anything like this on the internet. I searched a few places and it just wasn't easy to do. And so I am going to give you these tools for free. And that link at the top is where you can get them. Now, who feels like they're trying to drink from a fire hose right now? Anyone? Yeah, I know. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. But even though it seems like, information overload, I want you to realize that this is actually a huge shortcut for you, and this could save you years of trial and error and headaches and thousands, tens and thousands, or hundreds and thousands of dollars in the long run. So, is it all right if I ask you guys a question? Just type in yes in the comments. Okay, got a couple yeses. Guys, this isn't for me. This is for you guys. I'm trying to help you guys out. So, can I just take 15 minutes of your time right now to go into this special offer that I have for you tonight? Awesome, awesome. All right, I'm getting a few more yeses. Okay, so here's part 1 of the offer. You get the elite access to my stock screeners, all of my 6 proprietary stock screeners. I'll give you access, lifetime access. This isn't even like a year. You get lifetime access. So that could add up to a huge savings over the course of your lifetime if you're thinking about buying into a stock screener subscription. This may be a better way to go. And you'll also get 6 plan consulting calls with me personally. Now, guys, I can only accept so many students. So you're going to want to act as soon as possible once you get this full message. And the third section of this first part of the offer is you'll get access to the group on Facebook. It's the IPA group. You can just search IPA and request to join after you purchase the program. So the last thing in part 1 of the offer is the trade alerts. In the IPA group, I send out alerts. I want everyone to have a full understanding and be able to confidently develop a written plan and to act on that plan. That's why I created Trade Plan Consulting. So this is part 2 of my offer. It's a 6-week masterclass. It starts off with mindset, and we get into the actual mechanics of the market. And in week 3, this is where we create your plan. And then after we create your plan, we look to finding the ideas. And this is the stock screeners that I was talking about. And then after we find the ideas, we have to qualify the ideas with our checklists. And after we qualify the ideas, then we can actually execute our plan. Does that make sense? Okay. So the class took me about 3 months full-time to record, and I built my plan over a decade of trial and error through iterations and market testing. It's about 20 hours of content with action items all along the way to help you take these small actions to build up those executive skills. And I named the course Inflection Point Alchemy because I believe it can turn your ideas into gold. So part 3 of the offer is I'll give you my written trade plan. That's the trade plan that allowed me to make 425% in about 5 weeks with just 5 trades. And I'll give you my trade setup checklist. I'll give you my trade template. It's an Excel file. And then I'll give you my compound interest file. Part 4 of the offer is you'll get lifetime access to all my future publications and information. You'll get unlimited views on all of my content and trade support forever. And a chance to join my inner circle, which could be $10,000 for you. And these are tools I created for myself to save time, but also limit risk. And once again, this is a link to some of my tools that you can steal for free, and feel free to share this page as well. And again, once you learn this stuff, you can take it anywhere you go and you can teach it to other people. And you can really make a difference in the world and in other people's lives. So just to recap, here's what's included in the deal today. You're going to get all access to my stock screeners. You're going to get access to the Facebook groups. You're going to get 6 calls with me, trade plan consulting calls. You're going to get access to the IPA masterclass with the 6 weeks of content. You're going to get my trade plan. You're going to get my trade checklist. You're going to get my trade template. You're going to get the compound interest file calculator. You're going to get a lifetime access to all my future material, unlimited views and support, a chance to join my inner circle for $10,000. And it comes out to a total value of $9,988. and it's worth it. So you can go on tradeplanconsulting.com right now, and you can purchase my masterclass for $6,000. And people have told me that it's worth it. And I fully stand behind that value. I do think that the value is there. But I want to do something special for you guys on this webinar tonight. So I decided to bring the price down tonight. So because you've taken the time out of your day to watch this, and I love action takers, if you purchase this program before Sunday at midnight, here's what I'll do. It won't be 6,000, it won't be 4,000. For an extremely limited time only, you're going to be able to get this program this week only for $997. It's an insane value, and if you were on the fence about this, then this is the time to do it, because if I fill up all these spots, this offer is not going to be here next week, and it's, I don't know when the next time I'm going to offer a deal like this again. So, here's everything you're going to get again, and let's get into the questions right now. So the first question is, where do I start? So you literally start right at the top there in the dash box. You go to Dkope.com, click on that icon, and it's going to send you to tradeplanconsulting.com, and you can type in that first webinar coupon code, and that's going to take off that money for you. So the next question is, how much time do you need for this? How much time do you need for this? So, I would say if you have an extra hour a day for this, then this is something that you can fit into your schedule. Now, a lot of people think they don't have an hour in their day, and they might not, and this might not be for them. But, the average American watches 4.5 hours of television a day. I'm sure you probably watch an hour of television a day for enjoyment. So maybe this is something that you want to consider fitting into your schedule somewhere. I'm not saying you need to. Certainly, this is up to you. This is your decision, but it could definitely transform your life for the way better. So I encourage you to take the next step with me. Next question is, do you finance? So no, I do not finance, but Visa and MasterCard finance, and anybody, almost everyone I know has at least $997 in available credit, and that's an important discussion to have. Is it worth getting into debt to gain this valuable knowledge that could really be making you a lot of money in the future? And in my opinion, yes, it's absolutely worth it, because I've invested over $100,000 in myself, and now I have this great peace of mind that I wake up every morning really confident in my decisions, and I'm not really worried at all. I'm not fearful of anything in the market. I don't care what the market does today. I'm still going to make my money. So, I encourage you to think of it as an investment in yourself, and to maybe open up a new credit card and finance it. So next question is, I thought you didn't need any money. And I just talked about this. So you really don't need any money to start, as long as you have some ways and means of financing it in the form of a credit card. That would be ideal. And I did this as well. I I bought into a proprietary trading company for $6,000, and I didn't pay cash. I took out my credit card, and I didn't even have the money. And I charged $6,000 on my credit card, and I paid 12% interest on the money until I was able to pay it back. And now I've paid it all back and then some, and I'm happy with my investment and my choices. So, it really comes down to, are you ready to take that step to invest in yourself? And it is about the money, but it's more about taking that step and making that commitment to invest in yourself and your own education. So next is, it's not a great question. Can you just give me the plan for free? So no, once again, is anything that's gifted and not really earned is not going to be appreciated. So if I just give you the plan, you're not going to see the benefits from the plan. You're just not going to see them. And this happens all the time. Or I'll give you your money back. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. I'll refund everything if you're not satisfied with the course, if you're not satisfied with the calls, if you're not satisfied with anything at all. I'll refund 100% of your money, no questions asked. So it's really a no-brainer. You really want to do this. This is going to put you light years ahead of your competition. It's going to build executive skills that you didn't even know that you needed in your life. Next question is, where do you get the energy? I love this question. So I work out every day, which is a great source of energy for me, at least. And I've found that other people as well gain more energy from working out. I'm about to go work out right after this webinar, and it actually is great for my health, and it gives me a lot of extra energy. So if you're not working out every day and you feel a little lethargic sometimes, maybe you need to work that workout in your schedule as well. Cut out a half hour of the 4.5 hours of television you're watching. But yeah, in all seriousness, anything I could do to get you to realize that there's certain changes that you can make in your life that could have huge impacts over the course of your life and your career. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to coach and to mentor you through these challenges that you have in your life, because someone was there for me. I had a mentor. I had multiple mentors teaching me this stuff, and I just paid a lot more money for the information. And I'm really trying to bring down the cost of the admission for you. That's why I'm giving you this extremely limited time offer of $9.97 for you right now, this week, before Sunday at midnight. And then I'm going to take down the offer, and I'm going to close all the doors on the offer, and you're not going to be able to get it until a seat opens up again. And I don't know, that might take a month. So you really want to act as soon as you know that you're ready and you're committed to do this. You really want to hit that buy button. The next question, it's more of a comment, is I can't afford it. So this reminds me of an idea in Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Is his rich dad would think of things differently than his poor dad. So in the book, his poor dad would say things exactly like this, like, I can't afford it. Whereas his rich dad, even though he couldn't afford it, he'd just phrase it a little differently. And instead of saying, I can't afford it, he'd say, how can I afford it? And just this slight change in mindset can really reshape your entire thinking in general about everything in life and in business just by changing that wording from I can't afford it to how can I afford it. And it's just one of those little mindset shifts that can cause huge gains for you in the future. So you don't want to ignore any of these little details that I'm going over tonight, and hopefully you're taking good notes and you're writing all this down. But that's all the questions for now. So if nobody has anything else, I look forward to getting on these calls with you and really working out the details of your trade plan. And that's it for tonight. So until I talk to you guys on the phone, I will see you later.